So you have my latest acquisition for my Citizen EcoDrive collection. I was looking for something to replace my Nighthawk watch, and I previously did a video on my Nighthawk ProMaster Pilot, and I wasn't too happy with that. So I sort of decided to get something more understated and much cheaper, actually. So here we have the Nighthawk AT watch. It's known in the USA as the Nighthawk AT, and this is a USA market, North American market watch. Really cheap. You could get one of these for under $500. It keeps the Nighthawk, the original Nighthawk body, the same identical original Nighthawk bracelet with the double lock and clasp. Talk about that first. Get that out of the way. Design is very similar to the Nighthawk, original Nighthawk, outside of the dial. The only difference is it has the chronograph buttons for the settings, and the case back on some Nighthawk ProMasters are engraved. The North American market Nighthawk, original Nighthawk watches, it was just shiny. But here's like a matte polish with an etch for the markings in the back, which is really nice. I prefer this to the shinier backs that get scratched up. This does not get scratched by the clasp at all. I wish it was engraved, but it's not. This is not a ProMaster watch. As you see in the dial, there's no markings that says this is a ProMaster. So it's not a ProMaster watch. This actually does have a sapphire crystal, and it's radio controlled. So it updates every night with the internal radio, with the atomic time, syncs the watch to atomic time. And I believe that's where perpetual calendar comes in. It has a perpetual calendar in this watch as well. And it's sapphire crystal, I said, which is really, really thin crystal. It's flush with the bezel, you see on the edge. And inside the watch, we have a rotating bezel that's buried within the glass. You'll see that there. I really like the Nighthawk watches for all doing this. It's normally a pilot slide rule inside this watch for calculations. I'm not really sure. This is just a basic tachymeter. Doesn't really do much in terms of doesn't do as much as a Nighthawk's pilot slide rules in terms of calculation and stuff like that. It's basically does that. The 8 o'clock crown has a nice movement to it. It's very good materials used in this watch, and everything's put together really nicely. The crown is not a screw-down crown. Like the original Nighthawk, it has a screw-down crown. This crown is just comes right out. And basically, the first click, let me click it out, is what you're going to do to set your settings. And if you look at the 6 o'clock subdial, you could do different time zones. So I could go to Chicago. So it's going to set for Chicago. It's going to go back an hour, forward an hour or something. You could go to Denver, LAX for LA. And on this side, you have New York City, which is where I am. And we have London for one of the settings, for one of the time zones. You could also customize your own time zone for this ATM. Basically means alternate time. Alternate times. You can have a secondary time like a local time or any other time zone outside of these 4 locations: New York City, Chicago, Denver, LA, and London. So I haven't set that yet, so let's just go back to New York City, and it sets itself. There's other settings for the time, but because this watch updates every night, it updates itself. You never really have to go in and set the time. This watch also has an alarm setting, which we'll just go right to the top. As you see there, it says ALM for alarm, which is kind of cool. And to do this, I only pull the crown out, one click out, and I'm just rotating the dial to go between my settings and my 6 o'clock subdial. So it has an alarm. I'm not going to mess with that. It takes a long time to set because you see the hands move kind of slowly. And it also has a chronograph function, which you could leave the watch in that chronograph mode. And when you have the chronograph mode, it's going to go, let it finish. When you're in the chronograph mode, basically the second hand in timekeeping doesn't move. It stays stationary at the 12 o'clock position at the top. And I'm going to just reset my dial at the top here. I'm assuming the tachymeter helps for reading the chronograph seconds. But So this is gonna go. It's like 11:30 local time. So it's gonna go back to that. It takes a little while. Whilst that's doing that, I'm just gonna put the watch on. Show you guys how it feels. I really like the comfort of the Nighthawk bracelet, and I'm gonna refer to the Nighthawk, the original Nighthawk BJ7000 series, the steel Nighthawk that I've had before. So a lot of my reference in my watch reviews refer back to the Nighthawk. If you're not familiar with that Nighthawk, go back, maybe Google online and see that Nighthawk. That's the original standard that basically laid the platform for all these modern sort of Nighthawk build watch. If you see a Citizen watch in a department store and it says Nighthawk anywhere in the title, or sometimes overseas you see a ProMaster Pilot, a ProMaster Sky, and the design looks similar to this, that's where that design came from, that original Nighthawk design that pretty much made Citizen a world brand, because that watch blew Citizen up. It was a watch that introduced the EcoDrive. Maybe it wasn't the first watch to introduce EcoDrive, but it brought EcoDrive to the forefront of what Citizen wanted to do. It also made a watch for a man to wear. It's a manly watch, but it's really comfy. You can wear this all day. The bracelet is really light. It's not a lot of rattle to the bracelet. It fits like a glove. One of my favorite bracelets of all time, I think. It also has a micro adjustment within the lock and clasp. So if you want to adjust it extra, it does that, which is really cool. I prefer stainless steel to titanium, but you could also get this watch in titanium, as well as an ionized blacked out metal, which costs more and may be harder to find, but this you can get at a regular department store in stainless steel. So here we have the chronograph mode, going back, and what you'll see in the 6 o'clock sub-dial, there will be the red arrow goes to chronograph, and you could have this all the time in timekeeping mode. So basically the time will move, so it's 11:42, 11:43 now, so that'll move. The second and the hour hand will move, but the second hand will not move in this mode. So it's a stationary second hand until you hit the chronograph to activate it at the top. And I like that it beeps to let you know. Now, the chronograph is not a sweeping chronograph as you would find in a ProMaster or higher end Citizen watches. I have a few ProMaster Sky watches, and I noticed when you chronograph, the second hand always sweeps, but here it's ticking. It's a ticking second hand. So, and this is the H650 movement, this caliber movement that this watch is using. So to reset the chronograph, it goes right back. It's not really a fly back. It trickles back to 0, but that's basically it. But also in chronograph, you notice this is the minute keeping for the chronograph. So you won't get to see your days of the week displayed at the 2 o'clock sub-dial here. So I'm going to just go back to regular timekeeping mode. I'm in New York, so let's just put that back to New York. And it goes right back to where the second hand left off, which is really cool. I like that feature about it. And today is Saturday, so it tells you the days of the week right here. And everything updates nightly correctly. If your watch don't update nightly, like if you're outside of a zone that doesn't have radio, that doesn't get a radio signal from in the US is Fort Collins, which is in Denver, then this watch is accurate, but I think it loses plus or minus 15 seconds a month. So just keep that in mind. But it's perpetual calendar, but I'm assuming the perpetual calendar is based on this watch getting nightly updates from the atomic clock, which is a perpetual calendar, but which is a perpetual I guess source, a signal source. So I'm assuming the perpetual calendar of this watch is not based on the movement, but it's based on the fact that it gets a signal every night to update itself for correct time. And that's pretty much it for this watch. It has the alarm. I'm not going to go into that because it'll take a longer video. The sub-dial over here at the 10 o'clock position is the 24-hour timekeeping, something I've never used in a watch. Citizen includes it in a lot of their watches, but it's something I've never used. If you travel overseas, you live in Europe, or you're a military person, then that would be a little bit more helpful for you. But I'm a civilian living in the US, so I've never really used the 24-hour timekeeping sub-dial. But overall, this is an easy watch to wear. You can get one of these for under $500, and basically you're buying a Citizen Nighthawk with sapphire crystal and a radio atomic antenna inside, which is really cool. It has chronograph as well. It has sort of a mini world timekeeping function, and it has a perpetual calendar under $500 retail, not even on sale or discount. If you're to go online, maybe eBay or online wholesaler, you probably get this for under $400, which is really good. Watch has a good value. It looks like a Nighthawk, and at first I was skeptical, like, oh, will it be as quality? Would it have the same quality as the original Nighthawk? And it does. I mean, the bracelet from the clasp here to the watch, the case body, this watch is a quality watch. It's a quality watch. And if you were to buy a watch in a department store as a gift for someone, like a boss or a husband or a brother or son, this is a good watch to buy. They sell this at department stores in the US, like a Macy's or JCPenney's, perhaps, or whatever local department stores that you have, higher end, like a Neiman Marcus kind of. And you're looking for a watch, this is a really good watch to buy. And I'm assuming Citizen made this watch because now everyone's into, no one really owns watches anymore. If you've seen the movie The Internship about Google, there's a funny joke in there where someone asks someone else for the time and they look at their cell phone. And then to make a point that no one's buying watches anymore. And if someone is buying a watch, they're a collector and they buy maybe, they have a lot of money to buy like an Omega or Rolex brand watch. Or if they just need a watch for work, they're just going to go to Walmart and buy like a $20 Timex. But no one's really buying watches in this market range, in the $100 to maybe $1,000 range. Like, watch sales have declined. I read that in an article recently. So I think Citizen introduced this watch. Easy to use watch. Sort of have, this watch has a little bit of everything Citizen does in their overall line. And I think Citizen introduced this watch at such a low price to sort of attract buyers to buy Citizen brands, because this watch is in a department store next to Seiko, Beluva, and IWC, I believe, and different types, similar brands to Citizen. So Citizen introduced this watch at a low price to sell watches, and I think they've done a really good job. And I'm saying this piece to say most people watching this video might be watching this video not as a watch collector, but as someone looking for a gift for someone else. And this is a really good gift for a man or someone you're looking, you know, to buy a watch for. Because no one really buy watches like this for themselves. I'm a collector, and I know a bunch of people that collect Citizen watches will go out and buy a watch like this for $500 or $600. But someone with an iPhone 6 or someone that has like 2 cell phones or one of those smartwatches it's not gonna go out and spend $600 for a watch. You know, when you can spend $600 on an iPhone, so, or an Android Samsung phone. So it's a really good watch. Highly recommend it. It wears really nice. I have 7-inch wrist, and this is how it looks in 7-inch circumference wrist. And that's pretty much it. Let me put it on my other hand so you guys can see. I always do that for you guys in my video, so you guys could see righty and lefties, how the watches sort of look on your hand. Most people that do video reviews never put the watch on to just, you know, but you know, you're looking at this video because you may be interested in buying this watch, so you want to see how it looks like on your wrist. And it's a very solid watch. It has a bit of heft to it, but it's not cumbersome to wear. You can wear this all day. I've been wearing this watch for a week every day. It's been my daily wearer, so it's a good daily watch because it has heft to it. It's very durable. Like, you could drop it down, you could throw it around. You're not gonna worry too much about it breaking or getting scratched. It's very durable watch, and it's a good watch to wear as a daily watch. I originally wanted this watch before I end my video. This is what I wanted. Let me fix the zoom on this so you guys can see what I am talking about. And this is the AT4110-55E. It's a steel watch from the European and Asian market. And I originally wanted this watch because the movement is similar to this watch, the watch I ended up getting. But this is actually a watch I wanted for a Nighthawk replacement. Also, like, the bracelet on this watch is much nicer looking. I have never worn this bracelet before, but I'm not sure if it's going to be as comfortable as this. But I'm still looking for this watch, my AT4110 watch. And it has all the same features as this watch. And I think it includes a little bit more in terms of the timekeeping and calendar. But it's one of the watches I'm looking for, but it's nowhere to be found. So I ended up just getting this one for paid under $400 for this watch. So really happy with this purchase. I've had it for a week, and I highly recommend this watch. And this is the fix my zoom, this camera, AT4110 watch. Put it on for last appearance, and that's how it looks on my wrist.